What is up, Need for Speed Racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut, and I'm here today with Copium Series 9. This week we are running the DMC DeLorean on Yin Yang. We're going full send, we're out here getting sideways, we are going to drift and score points and go crazy and try new things that we've never done for Copium Series before. So strap in, get your drift on, and let's go have some fun. The rules for Copium Series 9, for those of you that have maybe never participated before, and for those of you that might need a refresh. The way it works is you drive this car, any build you want. You don't have to use my build, go with what you feel. At the end of the race, you take a screenshot and you submit that to me via my Discord, which is linked down below, or my email, which is also linked down below, alexcornnut@gmail.com. You can't miss it. Easy stuff. In the screenshot, I need to see your name, what car you drove, the track, Yin Yang, and then your points total. I will take all of the points, I will put them into the list, and then at the end of the week, I will divide everybody into splits, and we'll have a big reveal, and it's a lot of fun. It is the biggest series in Need for Speed Unbound, and we're changing it up, and we're going to try something new. I have not done a drift event since like the second or third week of the game when I did all of the drift events to get that car unlocked. So we're going to be dusting the rust off and trying some new things here. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited to be participating in this week. There's a lot of different deviations and technique within the drift scene, so I think there's going to be a huge point scoring gap. I don't think we're going to see any ties this week, but we might. That'll be really exciting. Let's dig into it. Let me show you what I've got for the build, and then I'll kind of talk you through some of the differences that you can set up for your car, and also some of the techniques that I've learned in my brief testing period, learning how to make sure to get the car sideways so I can give you guys something to work with. All right, for the DMC DeLorean, which is the car you must use this week, you guys, the engine that I'm going to recommend is the fourth engine over. It is the Sport Bronze 5.0 liter V8, 575 brake horsepower when we start. The reason I chose that motor is because it has the most torque. You want to have as much torque, or Newton meters of torque, to get that car sideways. You want to be able to break them loose. The turbos and the Sentry just doesn't have as much low-end grunt, so you really want to just get that thing going. So, like I say, whether it be foot-pounds or Newton meters, you really want to have as high a number there as you can to make sure that you have all the resources at your disposal, so when you hit that gas, it goes sideways on you. For the parts, pretty straightforward. It is Elite Platinum Induction, Elite Platinum ECU, Sport Bronze Fuel System, and Elite Platinum Exhaust. We're going to mate that up to an Elite Platinum Roots Supercharger. I couldn't get the screw to fit with this particular build, and so I went with the Roots because overall they have very similar torque figures, so why not go with that one. Sport Bronze Nitrous, this is where you might deviate a little bit. In the drift events, you get points for using NOS. Not boost, yellow bar, but blue NOS. So having a bigger nitrous tank might allow you to add some more points values to your overall performance. I'm not sure. When I set my high scoring run, I didn't use any NOS at all. So it's going to be a toss-up this week, but I also know that my technique is probably not where it needs to be. So we will work on that. For the suspension, I am running Elite Platinum regular suspension. You don't want the road because we're not looking for acceleration. We're actually looking for just control. So the regular suspension gives us a few more points to play with, to pack more horsepower and torque into the car, and actually doesn't make the car accelerate quite as hard. So that's kind of a win-win on both sides of things. This is not a race, this is a points event, so more of a medium speed, attacking the corners and getting maximum angle is what you want to do. We do have the Sport Bronze brakes, that's stock, and then you were going to run, in this build, Elite Platinum drift tires. But you might run Sport Bronze drift tires. I tried both. I got a high score with the bronze ones, but I felt like my technique improved as I was testing. So going back to the Elite Platinums, I'll probably have a little more control over the car. The name of the game for scoring points in the drift events is angle of attack. So if you go into a corner and you're doing like a micro drift, just barely kicking the car out, you're not going to score nearly as many points as if you've got the car very, very sideways. So the steeper angle of the drift, the more points you are awarded. That's a key factor here. To get a steeper angle, you need to carry more speed into the corners. In addition to carrying more speed into the corners, each checkpoint, when you go through this one, the next one starts counting down a points value. So you kind of don't want to lollygag going between the checkpoints. You kind of want to hit them at a certain speed, so that way you're getting the maximum value of points from the checkpoints. There's a lot of moving parts here, you guys. That's why I think it's going to be very exciting, because we're all going to be learning together. And I think that our leaderboard is going to shake up a lot, because we've got some guys that are probably sweet drifters that maybe not as fast at the racing, and I've got some guys that are omega fast racers that probably aren't going to be as good at the drift events. So I'm just ready to flip the leaderboard on its head and go crazy out here. Now, we are going to be running the Sport Bronze clutch. I run a manual transmission, and I think for drift events, that's probably a pretty sturdy way to go. That way you can just lock it in a gear and then just sit there and bounce off the rev limiter and get your car sideways. Food for thought there, you guys. I think a manual is going to be a strong way to go this week. Now, for the transmission, I tried all of them. I think the 6-speed is the best way to go for this configuration. It gives you lots of different gears to choose from, so that way you can be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever gear is correct for that particular corner. I will say that Yin Yang is not an easy track. I think it's probably one of the more technical tracks. So we're going way in the deep end of the pool. We don't have floaties or water wings, and we're going to just do the best we can not to drown out here. But it's going to be fun. I think if you master getting this car sideways on Yin Yang, you'll be able to take the actual drift cars like the RX-7 or the Silvias and really get some high points going. So it's going to be sweet. So I'm running the 6-speed, so I have the gear options there. But guys, go with what you feel. Build the car any way you want. And I would say if you're looking for a community to work with, get involved with the Discord, because we're going to have a lot of people testing. A lot of different builds are going to be coming out. I mean, I'll be really surprised if this ends up being the final best build. But it's the best that I've got right now. And I want to provide you guys with something as a good baseline. And I think this is a great place to start. Elite Platinum Differential gives us 100% drift. You can run the Super Gold, and that gives you 95%. So if you're balling on a budget, maybe do that. But I definitely think the Elite Platinum one is the way to go. Now, Auxiliary, also a little different this week. I run Nitrous Drift, obviously, because I want to get maximum blue NOS from all of my drifts. But there's a lot of parked cars on Yin Yang. You might do near miss. But you also might do draft. I'm not sure if you can draft in those events, now that I say that. You might do jump. There is a jump on that track. You come falling down, so you might get some blue NOS from that. So pick that second auxiliary for something that you're going to be able to utilize while in this particular playlist. That's the build, you guys. For the handling, obviously we slide the slider all the way to the right, 100% drift, anti-Beyonce. Steering sensitivity, I run 2 clicks high. Go with what you feel. Downforce, you can do the last like 4 clicks there. So if you're in the middle, you click 1, and then it's all the rest out. So go with what you feel on the downforce. I don't think you need very much. Traction control obviously is off. And then drift entry, gas or brake tap, go with what you feel. I think either way is going to be pretty sturdy. So to recap all of this, get a DMC DeLorean, run it on Yin Yang, set a time, set a score. The highest score is going to win, obviously, but I have all the splits, so we're set up for any way you want to do it. The screenshot at the end has got to contain your name, your score, the car you used, and the track. So I need to know that you've got all the pieces in place. Build the car any way you would like, but you must use the DMC DeLorean. All submissions must be submitted by 8 p.m. Central Standard Time next Saturday. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I always have a couple people that are late, so don't be late. Just get it in there. If you're looking for people to run with, come join the crew. We got a lot of people that are going to be running that this week. It's a great place to meet up and hang out with people and get to know a great community of friends. Drift angle, important. Carrying speed so you can get a good angle in all the turns, important. Making sure you get through the checkpoints in a reasonable amount of time so you get extra points from those, important. And then linking all of your drifts together with nitrous or like snake drifting down the straightaways, to make sure that you keep that multiplier going up. You don't want to bank all of your points, because once you bank it, whatever your multiplier was, when you bank those points, that's what you get. So if you got 1,000 points and you have a times 2 multiplier, you'll get 2,000 points. But if you keep that going and you accumulate that 1,000, turn it into 2,000, and then you've got like a times 4 multiplier, then you've got 16,000 points. And so the idea is kind of do the whole track without banking any of your points and getting that multiplier up as high as you can, and then right at the end, bank it all. I do know there's a bit of a glitch that I experienced by going through the finish line before banking all my points, and it didn't give them to me. So you might bank your points before the finish line, because Volume 3 bugs are still in effect, you guys. Other than that, I'm Alex Cornut, your wheelman. Join us on Copium. It's going to be a lot of fun this week. We're changing it up, and we will see you sideways on Yin Yang. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.